let's make an announcement on this show. Why not?
Welcome back to another episode of Team Talk with the Kite Games and me, Michael. This episode, however, is a bit special because we are not talking to a team this time. We are talking to the Surfr App, who sponsors and supports the Kite Games. On the show, I have Herbert with me, who is the founder of the Surfr App. And we talk about everything from how he started the Surfr App, what his goals and plans are, their challenges, the algorithms. It's a really interesting episode. I'm hoping you will enjoy listening to it as much as I enjoyed talking to Herbert about it. No further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this is Herbert from the Surfr App. Welcome, Herbert, to this podcast, Team Talk with the Kite Games. This is a special episode where we talk to the Surfr App and the fact that you actually support the Kite Games. So welcome, Herbert.
Yeah, thank you so much. And indeed, we recently joined our strengths, right? And happy to sponsor the Kite Games as well.
And thank you so much for doing that, of course. We will get into that a little bit more later. But first of all, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and where you live, etc.?
I live in the Netherlands, pretty close to the sea, which is amazing. Only maybe 30 minutes drive if I keep myself to the speed limits. And my name is Herbert, as you already know, of course. But I used to work my whole career in the software industry and do that for myself as well in different companies. And at some point, I wanted to make more work out of my hobby, not especially to start another big company, but just to have more fun. And that's kind of how Surfr started.
And the Surfr, it's an app that you can download from both Play Store and Apple Store. Can you tell us a bit more about the app itself?
So I started just with some tryouts measuring height with very basic algorithm and testing it out by using my own hands. And that's I already had maybe 2 years ago already. I had some basic measurements working, but then I paused on the whole project because I found out that different phones compared to each other were not consistent. So that was a major deal breaker back then. And only 2 years later, when I got more time on my hands, then I digged into that again, and then I found out that was actually fixable as well. So. And I spent maybe the last 9 months full time on the app, and mainly on the algorithm to get it consistent across phones, testing a lot. So actually go kite surfing for work now, which is something new to me. But then I go out, put maybe 5 phones on my board, and test out the consistency between phones as well. So that has mainly been the ride of the last few months.
Sounds like a dream job to be able to kite surf, testing different devices. How come you actually started the app? I mean, there are some pretty big players on the market already. So how come you wanted to start the Surfr App?
Yeah, it was basically just for fun and as a tryout in the first place. Not planning on. I was not quitting my previous job purely because I wanted to do this. I just quit my job. I did a few months. I did basically nothing, kite surfing. We were planning on traveling, me and my wife, but then Corona kicked in, and I had to stay home. And then I got thinking, okay, what can I do? And I could start up another, boring project. But I thought, why not do something with kite surfing? And so it started. And once I got it up and running and got some positive feedback, I thought, okay, this might actually be something, because it's really everybody has a phone. You don't need to buy anything. You need to buy a case if you want to use the board mount. But yeah, you can use it pretty easily. And yeah, basically that was, and then I got all the positive feedback in, and that made me, yeah, decide to proceed with this.
Awesome. And what do you feel makes it different compared to the other solutions on the market?
I feel that the combination of having a display, the GPS, and the internet connection is, yeah, the big difference. So you have everything in one device, your phone, and also your phone is like the computers of 5 years ago. So it's basically a very powerful calculator, and it can do everything that every other solution can do as well. So yeah, I think that is the main unique point, as well as having yeah, the big display on your board.
Yeah, I agree. And one thing that I believe makes you stand out a lot is the ability to use the live format.
Right.
Which you can actually, I can look at my app and see my buddies being out on the water if this broadcasts it live. And I think that's really powerful, especially when we're looking at competitions. It should be really interesting for competitions to use that solution, of course, as well. So that's one thing that I'm hoping to use much myself as well.
Okay, yeah, that's a nice thing you mentioned. And of course, competitors might do something with this as well, with the live streaming. But then people will still require to take a phone with you as well, because you need an internet connection to be live, right?
Exactly.
But for competitions, it might be really fun. And actually, yeah, let's make an announcement on this show. Why not? So we are planning for a competition hosted by Surfr in the Netherlands. As well, just a big air competition, but not like the traditional big airs where there is a jury and you are judged and you go out with 3 people in a heat, something like that. But everybody goes on the water within the same time window and try to boost as high as possible. We might introduce a few groups. For example, everybody who is jumping below 10 meters, everybody between 10 and 15 and above probably. And then, yeah, what we envision is like having 100 people on the water, or jumping, and then getting all the scores live fed to the app, and afterwards deciding who has won the event. So that's basically what we are want to do. Maybe in yeah, a little bit later, maybe in the autumn season.
So is this something that is decided to do, or is it something that you're still planning?
No, it's decided in that way that yeah, we really want to do it, but we need to develop a few features. For example, what would be really nice is if if spectators on the beach also can get involved on how high people are going. And we were actually discussing about maybe some form of like you have for the road work, the matrix boards. I don't know if it's called like that in English, but it would be nice if you have like a screen on the beach as well with the top performing surfers out there. So yeah, that's actually kind of decided, but yeah, the small side note is that nothing is written in stone in our schedule. So yeah, it might change in terms of when it will happen.
Maybe actually we can do an online event as well, a live event together, the Kite Games and the Surfr App, where we can say a specific time frame, and then we have a live boosting on that time frame, and then we can decide winners based on that. So everyone can join from everywhere, basically around the world. But since it's a specific time, then of course you might need to have 2 slots. People can't ride in the middle of the night, right? So
yeah, that's an option as well. But yeah, we need to if we want to keep it a little bit fair, I think in the end you can do that, because yeah, maybe it's blowing 10 knots over at your place and maybe it's blowing 30 knots here. So then the people in the 10 knots area don't make any chance, right?
That's true. Let's try to make something work there, and we can get back on that, of course. Yeah, cool. I mean, how exciting was it the first time you could see people actually posting big sessions, and you can see the scores coming into the app? besides yourself?
Yeah, besides myself, indeed, yeah, really exciting, and especially because at this point it requires a bit of investment from the persons themselves as well, because we only have the test mounts outright, and some people also glue their phone right to the board. Others are using waterproof bags and glue that to the board. So we've seen all kind of creative solutions. So when that actually worked as well, and we saw all these sessions coming in, yeah, that was really cool, and the positive feedback, that is basically what we live on, because we want to do it for the community, and obviously for having fun ourselves as well. But yeah, if people enjoy it, then we are happy as well.
And you managed to get some big names using the app as well. I'm thinking about, for example, Jamie Overbeak. How did you manage to do that?
He actually he contacted me, he and his brother, and they are from the Netherlands as well. So the Netherlands, the kite community is pretty. We have this Facebook group. I guess that's you have a Facebook group in every country, but. Yeah, I posted it there, and then they reached out. We want to try this as well. And I went to their home spot, which is Workham. I took 2 phones with me, 2 mounts, because I didn't want them to go through the process of mounting the phone. I just want to make sure everything was okay. And then they go out, and on the very first session, actually didn't went too well. Because Jamie, he's doing all kind of crazy stuff in the air, which clearly the app was not designed for yet. So basically, it was very good at detecting my jumps, which is going up and going down, and that's basically it. But Jamie threw in board offs, back rolls, kite loops, etc., etc. And the algorithm, the first version at least, it thought at a few points, it thought Jamie was already landed, but he was still in the air. For example, he touched he took his board from his feet, and then the app would think, okay, Jamie is landed now, but he was still in the air. So that was really nice to get him involved, and I've been to quite some communication and iterations with him, sending sessions back and forward, and he's sending me all the data files, and I'm changing the algorithm and rerunning the session, and in the end, it detects almost any of his jumps as well as basically everybody's jumping style.
So it's improved the app quite a lot, having
yes, like indeed. That. And I think that we will still go to a few rounds of those kind of improvements. For example, it has not been tested on South Africa big waves yet, using waves as ramps by people like the pro riders going to 30 meters or something like that. So there might be some changes needed as well, but that's kind of the phase we are in right now. It's not perfect, and that's what we try to communicate as well. But we will get there once the data is coming in.
And how do you work with improving the algorithms? Do you have like a system for that, a specific way of working?
Yes. So if you look on your phone and you're using the Surfr App, there is a folder. It's called Kiter, which was actually the first name we used internally, but we never changed the folder name, so it's still Kiter. And there are all kind of data files over there. So every session, maybe you got a few hundreds of megabytes of data, and basically, if we see some weird jumps, weird hang times, suspicious jumps, then we ask the person to send us the files. And then we start replaying the session. We can just replay it from behind the desk, fix something, replay it, fix something, replay it. And then in the end, replay maybe about 30 sessions to see if we don't break anything else. So that's basically what we're doing. And plotting all the data into Excel, seeing what's happening. Yeah, that also helps a lot.
And I actually experienced that firsthand myself, because there were some, my app stopped working when I was out on the water. And that's because I wasn't using it in the right way, but you actually saw that and you contacted me and wanted to have that folder. So I can vouch for that it's working like that. And I think it's a really interesting way of developing the product to be able to use the data in that way, of course.
Yeah, you need to have that, because otherwise you can only test when there is wind, and you have to go out back again and test again if it's fixed, and then it would take ages before everything is working.
You actually already mentioned a bit about that, but do you review the scores coming in? So you do you have a system for that as well? So you see that it's any outliers?
Yeah, we do, and the main issue which is currently in the algorithm is not so much with the people going high and making big jumps, but with people going low and making short jumps, because for me personally, the smallest jump I make maybe might have an airtime of about 5 seconds or so, and people are also making jumps for about 2 seconds or 3 seconds hang time. And then the algorithm turned out to miss the end of the jump as well, and giving people about 12 seconds hang time or so. So that's also, so we're watching for that and fixing. And we also have a few test riders who PR is about 5 to 6 meters. So getting them involved as well and make sure it works for them as well. So yeah, that's kind of how we work with that.
I think that's an important a feature, to be able to have those riders as well that have their personal records on 5, 6, 7, 8 meters, but yes, because you want to have the app there to help them progress. I progress a lot with being able to measure whatever I do. I like data. I love data. I'm actually a bachelor of science, of computer science myself. So I do love data and programming and everything. So I think it's important to help people, anyone that want to use it, to be able to use it.
Right. Okay.
But one thing, the reason why my app didn't work, or my session didn't work as expected, was because and I guess I'm not the only one, I couldn't buy the mount yet. So I had it inside my wetsuit,
right,
in a bag. And you saw that in your data and you contacted me about it. But this morning, I actually got an email from you saying that now you're announcing the wetsuit mode. So that made me very curious. Can you tell us about the wetsuit mode?
Yeah, so with the wetsuit mode, you can just take the phone out, put it in a dry bag, like the bags you can buy everywhere, and put it inside your wetsuit. It doesn't mind in which orientation it's inside your wetsuit, upside down, whatever. It really doesn't mind. You can turn off the screen, which will prevent any accidental touches as well. And then you can just start out riding, and it will also measure your jumps. And we investigated this wetsuit mode right from the beginning already, but at that point, we kind of got stuck on the issue of identifying where a jump actually starts and where it actually ends. Because we have a board that is pretty easy to see in the data, because when you take off, there is a large peak, and when you land, there is also a large peak. That's basically how we identify jumps. But with the wetsuit mode, it's more difficult because the vibrations are muted out by your body. All the board vibration, they don't reach your chest. But we found a different way to identify a jump as well. Just by looking at the data, we get about maybe 15 streams of data from the gyroscope and from the accelerometer, and we started looking at it again, and at some point we thought, okay, we might be able to use this data stream to actually identify jumps recorded in wetsuit with a wetsuit mode, and that happens, I guess, maybe 2 weeks ago. So pretty recently, but yeah, we can go pretty quick. I tested it the last few days, going to test it the final version as well this next Thursday, and then it should be out and working.
I think it's super exciting, of course, and also, of course, because we are still waiting for the mounts to be produced, so people can go out and enjoy the app and see their progress and be part of the game, right, even before they get the mount. Of course, the downside is that you won't have the big screen on your board to see how high you jumped. You have to wait. Well, I guess you can put your phone out of the wetsuit, but otherwise you have to wait until you get to the beach to see how high you went. But
yes,
How will this affect the accuracy of the jumps? Have you seen that? Have you had both the wetsuit mode and
Yes.
another phone on the board as well?
Yes, I did that last time. I put the iPhone versus the Samsung. I put them both in the wetsuit mode, and the sessions are on the Surfr App. They actually both gave me the exact same 10.9 meters as the max jump. But on the board, I was going higher, and that's basically because I tend to kick my board up at the apex of the jump. So, and it's also the case that the board is starting lower as well. So the board is starting about maybe a meter lower than your phone, and then if you kick it up as well, then it's going maybe 1 to 2 meters higher as well. So at this point, you will go higher with the board mount, especially when you kick it up. Yeah, but we'll see in the long run if it really makes a big difference on big jumps. We don't know yet, but that's kind of the case. In terms of accuracy, yeah, it's using the same algorithm. So it's using the same code, it's using the same calculations. So from that perspective, it should be similar in terms of accuracy.
Yeah. Maybe this is the solution to for us to stop seeing that dreadful tabletop jump when that people started doing. I would say when they started getting the measurements on the board, when you see all the asses hanging up in the air, you know, people trying to get the board as high as possible.
Yeah, I had to start doing that myself because my friends, they were going bigger than me, and I saw them kicking up the board, and I thought, okay, I need to do that as well. Otherwise,
I did it too. I'm guilty. You know?
And we tested that table topping as you call it. We tested that side by side, and it actually really makes a difference of about 1.5 to 2 meters if you do that. So that's basically the difference. But I don't have the guts to do it on my very high jumps. So if I go around 18 meters, then I'm just holding on to the bar and hopefully coming back down. So I have to do it there as well in order to reach 20, I guess.
Oh. But of course, I'm starting to think now with the wetsuit mode, and you don't really have to buy the mount anymore, and that's the only revenue you have at this point. How will you make money? Because of course we want to see this company continue to be. We all want to, and I think having a competitor on the market is perfect. I think we need that as well. But what's your plan for having a revenue stream?
Yeah, so I still think that maybe I don't know how much, but a lot of people will still appreciate the board mount because you can see your height at real time, and it's not only your height. Maybe you have seen the Instagram updates on the gestures as well, so you can get the windy weather updates. You can get alarms from incoming storms. You can see what your friends are doing. So I think a lot of people, especially the more frequent riders, will appreciate that and still buy the mount. But yeah, a lot of people also came to us and said, I'm never going to put my phone on the board. I just don't want to do that. But they wouldn't already buy the mount in the first place. So we still hope that the revenue stream from the mounts can cover our costs for at least a short term, let's say the next year. And it looks like it's doing that. So I think we're fine on that for the short term. And in the long run, we might have to introduce a small charge, subscription-based charge. But we're also thinking about different options, like for example, how Windy is doing. Windy, they ask once in a while, they start asking for donations, right? Maybe you've seen it yourself, and that might be a way we want to go as well. But we have to see about that. Really, we're really not thinking about that, which might seem weird, because if you start a company, you have to think about revenue streams, right? But we're just thinking about improving the app. We're discussing new features, and only we'll want to start thinking about revenue streams maybe about a year from now, also when the community is a bit bigger as well. Because if I introduce a €1 charge now per month, it really doesn't make much of a difference with the amount of users we have.
I think you're right there, and I know that we have seen some monthly subscriptions, yearly subscriptions coming out on the market as well. And I do think that if it adds value in any way, I will for sure sign up for that. And I do think that you, as I said, you can provide something that the competitors don't, to this date at least. Seeing the all the possibilities you have with having hooked internet connected device on you or on the board, etc. And I can give as a, I think you have mentioned it somewhere, but I can say it here as well as a tip for users. Most of us have an older phone lying around. So I'm planning to use my older Android phone. I know it will work on there. And also, at least here, when I'm based in Sweden, you can have like a twin SIM card that you can order from your provider. So I can have internet in that device as well. So don't have to have my brand new phone on the board as well.
Yeah, that's a really good one. And we see a lot of people doing that. And therefore, we also try to make the app compatible with phones from years ago. And and it looks like that works fine. And but yeah, we try to be as transparent as possible about the whole revenue model and related questions. We got them quite a lot. But the truth is, we're not thinking about that. We're not debating. We're not making a forecast in Excel or something like that. We're just building the app and make that as awesome as possible. But that's kind of the status.
I think you're doing the right choice there. I'm super excited to see where this goes. In terms of using an old phone, is there a disadvantage of using an old phone, or how far back can you go today? Do you know that today? Is it? Looking at the gyroscope and everything, is that?
Yeah. So basically, we found one issue, which has mainly been overcome by the algorithm, and that's not only on older phones but also on very cheap phones, and that is that they have limited accelerometers in terms of how much G-force the accelerometer can measure. So basically, every phone can handle up to 16G. And that is really a lot. If you, my biggest crash ever recorded is about 12G, I believe. So, and that was one where I really got injured and broke my rib. So normally you won't see that much Gs, that much G-force. But on older phones or on really cheap phones, the sensor is limited by the software to 4G. So that is really annoying. It's just a software thing. The hardware, if you look the sensors up, they can all support 16G mode. But the software, the manufacturer decided to limit it. And the great thing is, for example, of Apple is that you can upgrade the iPhone 6. You can upgrade it all the way to the newest iOS version, to iOS 12 or iOS 13 as well. So on iOS, we don't have that issue because all the software limits has disappeared over the years. So that is the only thing with the cheaper phones or with the older phones. They might have a limited sensor, and what does that really mean for your height measurements? Not too much, as we have seen it right now. But when you go above 15 meters. I think you will have less accuracy. It will still register 15 meters. It will still register 20 meters. We have tested that as well, but the deviation might be a bit bigger. And as of the next version, we will notify users who are affected by this limited sensors. We will notify them. From our database, we know that it's about 5% of the users who actually have limited capabilities.
I think that's a really good idea as well. I actually know from listening to Leo from VU also that one thing that differs from their early versions of the hardware to the current version is the ability to measure the G-force. They switched out that part of the device as well. So I think it's a good idea to let people know, because one thing that always will be raised a question is the question about the accuracy of the algorithms and the app and the devices, and to let people know that they are using a phone that will give them less accuracy. I think it's something that will be provided as a good service to the users, of course.
And I think this problem will disappear over time, and it only affects people who are boosting high. For example, you have might have seen the Life of Garrick videos as well, right?
Yeah.
He is using a Galaxy S6, which actually has this limited sensor. He doesn't know, but maybe he knows now because I'm telling it through your podcast. So he will see this message as well in the next release. But he is feeling like it's really accurate, and he has compared it to other devices out there as well. So I'm not sure how much it affects people right now. We have done basically 1,000 jumps with comparing multiple phones, including these limited sensors phones, to each other, and so far it has been really, the results have been really good, and the biggest difference we saw on jumps were limit to about 1.5 meter or so, and about 90% or more than 90% was closer than 50 centimeters to each other, which is I think a great performance for this kind of measurements. And I feel that it's not really the accelerometer or the gyroscope which is determining the accuracy. Of course, it contributes a lot, but the main what people mean by accuracy and the reliability, finding the jumps and being consistent, that is mainly in the algorithm. That's at least my vision. So I know there will probably be people out there saying, yeah, but all the phones, they have different accelerometers. How can that ever be consistent? But the algorithm is basically making sure that it will be consistent by mitigating all the differences across phones.
Sounds great. Herbert, one final question from me here. What are your goals and dreams with the Surfr?
Goals and dreams. We have thought about that as well, and it's and discussed it on the web a little bit on the website as well. So my goals and dreams, I think it would be really nice to see more the bigger names out there starting to ride with Surfr, and actually we are in contact with a few of them, and I think people can expect to see a few big names going out with Surfr in the next few months. But we don't want to get them involved with the test mount, for example. We really want to wait to have the good product and then get them involved. But the communication is there, and I really love to see that. And then obviously you want to see the community grow, not only with people who want to boost, but also with people who want to feel safer. For example, being able to have your phone with you, also adds a lot to the safety of kiteboarders as well. So that's basically it. Let's grow the community, and I'm really happy to see how this has been picked up so far. Talking with you in this podcast, it's only out for maybe 2 months, being compared to the existing solutions as well. So I think that's all nice, and we will continue to do our best and see how this proceeds from here.
I'm hoping for the best, of course, and as I said, excited to see where we go from here. Of course, for people to know, if you sign up for the Kite Games, you are in the running of winning the mounts when they come out on the market. So we will have some mounts that we can have as a giveaway for winners of the Kite Games. Herbert, thank you so much for doing this and took your time. And I'm hoping to see the mounts coming out soon. And also, the next time I get wind here in Sweden, I will try out the wetsuit mode when that is released, of course, as well. And cool. Hoping to get some scores on the table there as well.
So, what is your PR? Just to know if you're going high.
Sorry.
So, what is your average height?
Yeah, my average height, I would say I tend to have at least, when it's good wind, 12, 30 meters at least. But my personal record is somewhere around 17.
Okay, nice. So expect to if you're used to tabletopping, expect to go maybe 2 meters lower, but we'll see your session dropping in then.
I'm not a tabletop guy anymore. Now I'm more of trying to boost high and do some do the loops and
Okay,
also
cool.
board offs. I'm trying to win the kite games myself, so I have to do the board of
You can't
spins
win
and
it
everything.
if you're the organizer, right?
Yeah, I'm not going to win, but I want to give the guys and girls that are in top run for their points. So I'm trying to get as much as I can in as well.
Okay, very cool. Good luck
Yeah.
with that, and
Yeah.
thank you for having me.
Thank you also.
All
See you
right,
soon.
bye. See
Bye.
you.